We're here with Nothing Personal, a band that involves a lot of students who either are currently at Cranford High School or have graduated from Cranford High. Why don't we start off by going around and telling us your name, what you play or sing, and what year you graduate or will be graduating from Cranford High.
I'm Nick Durant. I play drums, and I graduated last year, so I'm the class of 2013.
I'm Getty Warner. I'm one of the two lead singers, and I'm a senior currently, and I will be graduating in the class of 2014.
I'm Luke Lengo, and I play bass, and I do backup vocals, and I am from class 213.
I'm Vienna Stavala. I'm the other lead singer, and I will be graduating in class of 2015.
I'm Oliver Burglass. I play rhythm guitar. I'm a sophomore in high school, and I'll be graduating in 2016.
Hi, I'm Alex Cadella. I play lead guitar, and I graduated last year, 2013.
Well, why don't we start off by, for those who aren't familiar with your music, how would you describe your music? Tell me a little bit about the type of music that you play and that sort of thing.
I would just naturally just say it's like rock and roll, hard rock kind of stuff. But I mean, like, we kind of have all of our own influences. So I mean, I think we're generally like in like the rock and roll niche, and I think that's cool because I know a lot of bands don't do that right now. But at the same time, I know Luke's really into alternative music, and then you guys are more into, Nick and Oliver are more into like more modern like metalcore kind of stuff, and Getty's into like Dio and all that kind of stuff. So I think we all have our own styles that we bring into it. But I think it's all rock and roll. But like, you know, we all have our own influences that we kind of bring into it.
Now, I understand later this month you're going to be having your album debut. That's pretty ambitious, having an album debut for a group of students who either are currently in high school or have recently graduated. Tell me a little bit about that.
This will be the very first time we play the entire album all the way through, so we're really excited for that. We played a couple new songs yesterday, and they went really well, so I'm excited to see how the whole album goes. So we spent a good 6 months working on this? I think a good 6 months working on the album. We got in the studio. We did the whole thing in like a month, right? We did the whole album in about a month, recorded it, mixed it, and mastered it. And it sounds, for the time we spent on it, it sounds amazing. So I can't wait. For some people have already heard it. They have had amazing reviews of it so far. I'm excited to hear what other people have to say, especially when we play it live, so it should be good.
The recording process was cool. I mean, like, we started, January 4th of this year, and we did drums and bass in a day, and it was for 8 songs, so that was ridiculous. And then, we did it at, what's Keen call it? It's Studio 108, yeah, and we did it, we did it there, and we did that there. We tracked guitars at my house. He set me up at my house so like I could do it alone with Oliver, and we worked on guitars there, and we did that in about like a week, and then we did vocals in about a few days depending on everybody's schedule. Yeah, we did you in a day or two. Yeah, 2 days or 1 day. 2 days. Yeah, we did Getty in 2 days, Vienna in a day. Luke did 1 day for like 20 minutes, and then but it was a really quick process, and for that it sounds great. And you know, Keen works out of his like garage, and he did an amazing job. We were actually one of the first bands I think we were like the first band we actually worked at his.
That wasn't Split Tree. We were the first ones.
Yeah, no, we were the first band that worked at his like home studio that he's kind of in the process of making. So like he's been setting it up like while we were doing it. Like, I mean, he's getting new stuff all the time, so we were the first band that he really tested out to do everything, and it sounds awesome. I mean, no one would really know that we did it in a kid's garage that we know from the high school. Like, you would never know that, so it's great, especially because some people pay, like, so much money to go, like, into Westfield or into Cranford, like, and into a studio in Cranford and spend all sorts of money on a recording studio. You would not know that we did it with a friend. It's great.
Vienna, why don't I ask you, how did you guys come together? How did you get to know each other and decide that you wanted to perform together?
I think that some of the band members substituted in for a couple of other band members in different bands in the beginning of the year last year. And I met Nick through a music theory class my sophomore year, which was last year. And they asked me to sing in in a show that they had that was upcoming. And they all got together from different bands. And I sang, I think, 2 or 3 songs at that one show. And then they decided to form a band formally. They asked me to be one of the singers in the band. So that's how I got in it.
Yeah, we really didn't know. I mean, I know me and Nick, and then you, yeah, I mean, I don't think any of us really knew. We knew your sister, because her sister's in our grade, so your sister just graduated last year. But yeah, we didn't really know you before then, so, like, that was cool. Like, there was the first show, like, we literally, like, met you, like, a few practices before the show, so that was cool.
Now, for those of you either who have already graduated from Cranford High School or who are still going to Cranford High School, are you involved with other musical activities at the high school?
I'm not.
I, unlike Oliver, am involved in pretty much everything musical at the high school. I'm in Yeah, I pretty much am. I was in 3 choirs at the high school. I was in men's choir, concert choir, madrigal choir. I was also in the noteworthy a cappella choir. And then I was in last spring's musical and this spring's musical. I was a famous Italian opera singer 2 years ago. And then this past year I was Danny Zuko in Greece. So, I mean, I'm pretty much the one who does most of the stuff at the high school musically. And then I've also been in several like other honors choirs too. Like I do a whole bunch of different singing all over the place. So that's what I do. So as opposed to Oliver's next to nothing, I do everything.
I think this is one of my, maybe the 6th year. I've been going to a studio in Garwood called RMC Studios, and I love it there. I take individual lessons for guitar, piano, and singing. Yeah, I think this is my 6th year. So I perform in annual recitals every year for that. I do that by myself, but other than that.
My senior year, I was in the marching band. That was actually kind of how I got into this. The music, one of the music teachers at the high school, Mr. Chernosky, kind of got me into playing with other people, because before that I'd never really played with anyone, and he had heard me play in class, and he convinced me to join the marching band. And then I think that's how me and Alex and Luke kind of hooked up and started playing together. So from playing music just after school with him in like the band room kind of is what started me wanting to play with other people and getting out, because before that I'd never played in front of anyone. So that definitely pushed me to get up on stage in front of people to play.
Sophomore year, I was in jazz band, and then junior year was in jazz band, and senior year, I was actually going to try to be in marching band for senior year to play bass, which would have been interesting, but I didn't have time for it.
Yeah, and I did choir in high school for like, I don't sing in the band, but like I did choir in high school for a few years, and before that, I mean, I've always been like in the art stuff. I mean, like I draw. I in school, I know I did the plays when I was in middle school, so like I've always done like the theatrical stuff.
Now, the collaboration process in terms of putting the music together, is there somebody that usually takes the lead when it comes to the words, writing the music? How does that whole process work amongst all of you?
No, basically the way that goes is, I mean, generally I'll come up with riffs or things like that, and then I'll usually show that to Luke or to Nick, and then we'll kind of flesh out the song and make it its own kind of thing, and then we'll talk to Oliver, and it's a process like that. I mean, I generally come up with like the riffs and stuff like that, at least for the first album. I mean, I know we're working on stuff now that's completely different and sounds great, and I mean, I'm trying to think, like, as far as lyrics, yeah, I mean, lyrics would all have come up with ideas. I'll show them to Getty and Vienna, and we'll kind of all work out melodies and work out stuff like that. It's a group effort. I mean, like, I think sometimes it starts with me, but then we kind of, and then, I get the ball rolling, and then it just kind of fleshes out into its own thing that we all work on.
I know that you've performed at Crossroads. That's where the album debut is going to take place. Are there other venues that you perform live that people who want to hear you will have the opportunity to listen to your music?
Locally, we play 10th Street Live in Kenilworth. We've played other places. We played Teaneck, Nutley, Mexicali Live in Teaneck. We played a lot of different places. We've played Stone Pony a couple times. We're trying to get back there. We've gotten offers from Starland Ballroom. We're trying to get in there sometime. Right now, we're currently working on trying to get on a couple festivals for the summer. We just played the break contest yesterday to try to get on the Skate and Surf Festival. And we're currently in a competition for Warped Tour this year. So right now we're actually doing very well. We're in 2nd place for the Homedale date. So there's a good chance that if we could keep getting votes up, that we might be able to play Warped Tour this summer there. So that's pretty cool. So that's like our big show that we're hoping to play so far this year. But other than that, locally we play Crossroads, 10th Street Live, mostly stuff like that. We play a lot of like events. We played the first home football game this year. We play like block parties, stuff like that. We play Soro a lot. We've done some stuff for Relay for Life around town. So we do a lot of local events.
Now, I want to talk about the Stone Pony, but before I talk about that, you mentioned about if you get more votes. Tell me about how people who want to vote for you can vote for you.
Yeah, if you go to our Facebook page or our Twitter or any of the other things that we're on, we post all the time, and basically you go on the site, there's a red button that says vote, you click it, you put your email in, you can do it as many times as you want all the time. So I've pretty much been spamming emails constantly. No, or you share it, you comment on it. It's a really cool website. Honestly, it's through the contest is through Ernie Ball, the string company for guitars and basses. And so it's really good, and you can vote all the time. And you can see our music on it. There's some pictures of us. There's a bio. So the way it works is there's a buzz rate, and basically you're trying to. It's a popular rating. So like you're trying to get it up to 100%. We're 89.4. In the entire country. So that's pretty cool, and everybody's kind of racing. All the local bands are trying to race and try and get to 100 as fast as they can before everybody else.
You mentioned the Stone Pony. I think most people in New Jersey are familiar with the Stone Pony. Even if they've never been there, they at least know that that was a place, a venue where Bruce Springsteen got some of his early starts and occasionally reappears. How did you guys get to play the Stone Pony?
Alex, in a way, has been a pretty good agent for us. He's gotten our name out there. He's contacted many promoters, and occasionally those promoters will talk about showcases or various other opportunities at different venues, and as it turns out, the Stone Pony had several openings at different times. So Alex managed to talk to these promoters about getting us to perform at the Stone Pony at these different times. I unfortunately wasn't able to play at one of them, and we've also had to turn down a few times based on everyone's availability, but we've had a good time with that, and we've performed at many other places and enjoyed all of them. So, I mean, it's just sort of the work of people communicating and everything.
I don't know if you guys have seen the Tom Hanks movie. It takes place in the early 60s, and it's a band sort of like the Beatles, and they sang this pop hit, That Thing You Do. And there's a scene that I liked where they hear it on the radio for the first time. Has your music been on the radio yet? And if it hasn't, what do you think it would be like to be driving along or sitting someplace and hear that music come out of the radio speakers?
I would think that would be the coolest thing. You're just like out of nowhere, you just start like, I probably wouldn't realize it at first. Like I would just be like, oh, this is good. Oh wait, this is us. I don't think it would click instantly because it hasn't clicked yet that we've actually made our own music and it's out there. I play it like on my iPod in my car all the time, and like I'll forget that it's my music that we actually wrote. So hearing it on the radio with all these other people listening to it at the same time would just be amazing to know that we actually hit that peak where we made it that other people have access to our music over the radio. So that would be pretty cool.
Like Nick said, just like listening to it and suddenly hearing it, like I'll be sitting at my desk doing homework or something one weekday, and then I'll have my iTunes on shuffle on my computer, and then all of a sudden one of our songs will come on, and it'll take me a second to even realize that that's us. And then that moment of realization is like, wow, this sounds awesome. Like not just to brag about like the fact that it's our own music, but like hearing it mastered and everything, and just listening to it as compared to like the other music I listen to, like it really just seems to fit. And the fact that it's actually there and that it's actually ours is something to really be proud of.
Kind of on that, I think the best victory for the entire album is when your parents go up to you and they go, "It's really good," and we're not just saying that because we're your parents. It's actually not bad. Like wow. So I think that was like the biggest victory for the entire thing. And no, it sounds great. I mean, like if it got on the radio, and if hopefully it does, I mean it'll be ridiculous. I will not believe it for a very long time. It's awesome.
You could say you're just starting out. What do you see as the future for Nothing Personal?
I mean, I see a lot of potential in us. I mean, we've already come such a far way. Like, in January this year, it's been a year since we got together. Honestly, like, I think the more times that we play, the more we're going to get out there. The fact that we have our album out, it's crazy. And even, like, this Warped Tour Battle of the Bands, people have been voting for us that I wouldn't think were listening to our music. And obviously, they have to, like, in order to vote for us. And even if we had, like, the opportunity to play at, like, Warped Tour this summer, that would just be amazing. And we would get our name out there, and that would just, I think we have so much potential. It's really exciting to think about that.
And kind of the cool part is about, like, the whole Warped Tour thing and everything, and then just even it being on social media and everything is when people, like, comment on videos or just various other things where they can communicate with you, and you get a message from some person you've never heard of, or, like, they live in some remote place where you've also never heard of that, or just someplace far out, someplace far out, and then they comment and say, wow, this music is amazing or something. It just really, like, sort of hits you, like, in the heart, and it's just like, wow, I'm proud that I can say, like, this is mine, and I've done something with music.
I definitely see us going places. Considering we've accomplished so much in a year, we played the first few shows all covers, and they were, not the best. We didn't have the best chemistry by then, but in a year we played the Stone Pony, I think 2 months into us being a band. Yeah. We wrote our first song, and people actually liked it, and that was when it kind of hit that, wow, like we actually have something here, and we wrote the whole album, put it out. I got messages from people I hadn't talked to in years, people I don't really talk to, that just like, I checked it out and it was amazing. Like at first I was like, okay, we'll sell a couple copies to family, some close friends, but people I don't even really talk to were reaching out to me, telling me how amazing it was. They want one. They've been voting constantly. They're really supportive. And that's like when it hit me that people actually are into what we're doing. And that's the most important part of going places. If people don't like what you're doing, you're not going to get anywhere. So the fact that people are actually into what we're doing really shows that we have potential. And our shows have been getting bigger and bigger since we started out. We've been asked to play bigger things, local events, opening up for people, things like that. I think the album definitely opened a lot of doors because now since we have actual original music, a lot more people are into it than just a cover band, because I think the true test of a good band is how well you can write and play your own stuff over how well you can play other people's music. So I definitely see us going really far from here on out.
So, like, speaking of people actually reaching out from, like, remote places, like, I was at a summer camp in Berklee School of Music up in Boston for less than a week, like 2 summers back to back. And I have people that I only met for less than a week, and they were reaching out to me saying, where can I get the album? Like, you guys, from what I've heard, sound awesome. So it's just another example of, like, how far-reaching it is and just how people really enjoy the music.
Definitely about the album and about the voting too. It's been like the voting for that contest. It's been really crazy. I mean like what you said about people that like I haven't talked to in forever, like who like a lot of us haven't talked to in a long time. Like they'll contact us and be like, this is great, or you guys are awesome, and like it's awesome. And especially about the Warped Tour contest. I mean, like I've always seen, like when I was a few years ago, I'd always see like videos of people being like, oh yeah, we had a lot of support in high school and people really stood up for us, and I was always like, that's really cool and that's really lucky. That won't happen for lately it's been like our entire all of Cranford has been basically voting for us, and it's been really cool. And I'm always like, and it's been ridiculous. I can't even really believe it now. And like I know like people from the place you went, the camp you went to, I mean, have been voting for you. Like everybody from that to people I haven't talked to forever. Like it's insane. And I know that you guys have had a lot of part in that. They've been passing out cards like to kids at school and talking about all over the high school trying to get people to vote. It's been awesome.
We wrote like on like hundreds of flashcards, like hundreds of index cards, just like the URL to the website that you can vote, our Twitter, our Tumblr, our Facebook, all that stuff, and we've just been like passing it around the entire school, like at lunch and everything, and it's just been really cool.
Oliver and I walked around lunch, and we had maybe 70 index cards with our information to vote for us. And we're like, like 70 will be enough for our entire lunch. And most people will probably ignore us. I mean, people walk around all the time, and like sometimes people aren't willing to pass money in for like an event or something. So we were like, no one's going to want the index cards. And we ran out halfway through the cafeteria. So like it was really awesome to see people like thinking that we have a chance for this, and people that we don't really talk to being willing to vote for us a couple of times in the next week. It's really cool.
Have you had any reaction from the faculty at Cranford High?
There's been a very good reaction among a whole bunch of different people, because I've sold a few albums to a couple different teachers, and actually my physics teacher, he's really hard on music. Like he plays music in his class and he only likes certain kinds of music, but I sold him an album. And it took him a little while to listen to it, but when he listened to it, he made a point of coming up to me after class one day. I was like, I really love the album. Every song on it was really solid. Like, and I was surprised. I thought maybe like the first 2 songs would be good, and then I'd actually come in and tell you the rest of it sucked. But he actually said like the whole album was awesome. And then I also gave one to my lacrosse coach, and he was saying how he'd actually want to put one on the warm-up mixtape that we do for games. So he might put one of the tracks on for that. I've heard Mr. Sorrentino has given us a good reputation, like he's been saying how awesome it is. And there's various other teachers that have done that. My history teacher from last year, he came up to me and said it was an awesome album. So, I mean, like, it's gotten around to not just students, but faculty as well.
Well, we've been talking to Nothing Personal, and you can hear more of their music by clicking the links that are connected with the interview here, as well as finding out how you can vote for them so that they can get above 89.5 and get up toward 100%. But thank you, guys. Thank you so much, and all the best in your performances. Let's close out by listening to one of the songs from your first album, To Whom It May Concern. This is Beneath the Lights.
Underneath the moonlit sky, sun.